I said I didn't write back because I just needed a break. But it takes me like 20 clicks to assign one person. I need 120 people.
Taxable.
That's a lot of clicks.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent prayer, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'll remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. The first item on the agenda is a public hearing. I'd like to call the public hearing to order in regards to the Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund application for improvements to Loon Feather Park. So I could do a presentation, please?
Good evening. I've got a brief presentation that was provided to you. I'm not sure if it's on screen or not. Okay. You can go to the next slide. What's being proposed at Loon Feather right now is pursuing a $296,500 grant, which is 50% of the total project cost, which would come out to $593,000 altogether. This project would rehabilitate the existing pavilions, rehabilitate or replace the existing bathroom, rehabilitate the existing guardhouse, resurface and reconfigure the existing walkway so that it meets ADA regulations. There would be some shoreline stabilization efforts put in place because there's some erosion that's being noticed on the western side of the park. There would be a new rain garden near the bathrooms, and then there's miscellaneous costs and permits and engineering that all add up to that total of $593,000. So if you go to the next slide. So what this will accomplish overall for the pavilion, this is going to repair any damaged materials that are in there right now. These are award-winning pavilions, and we really wanted to rehabilitate them rather than replace them. It would replace the stabilizing cables that are in there right now with a less intrusive technique. So there's going to be some new engineering involved. And there'd be new motion sensor lights and cameras, so there would be after-hour security so that as police drive by, they'd be able to tell if somebody's actually on site. The restrooms, much like the pathways, the new improvements would make the restrooms ADA compliant. Right now, the stalls aren't wide enough, and the sinks don't have a way for anybody in a wheelchair to get up to the sinks. The guardhouse would mainly be just improvements to the sight lines so that the park rangers can see who's coming and who's going in the park. The surface walkways, as I mentioned earlier, that would help to ensure that they meet ADA guidelines. And there's also going to be a new accessible path connecting the two pavilions and going to the new playground equipment that's already in place. The shoreline stabilization efforts, as I mentioned, there's erosion on the west side of the park. We're noticing some weaving in the fencing over there already. So that's something that really needs to be addressed soon, or else there would be no point in having the pavilions where they are right now, because we think 20 years down the line, they could be sliding down the shore. And then the rain garden is actually a nod to the grant application process. They do require 3 forms of ecologically sensitive improvements. So the rain garden would be one, using LED lights would be another, and then the third one would be using sustainably sourced materials for all of the improvements that we're doing. If you can go to the next slide. And so the next steps for this process, the grant application is actually due on April 1st, so that's a week from Monday. The DNR will then do an administrative review to ensure that the application is complete, and will give us a chance to make any adjustments we need to. In early summer 2019, the DNR reaches out to all the communities that have gotten through that first step and gives them a chance to add supplemental materials. So if we get more letters of support, if we had some fundraising efforts that came along, what have you, there would be a chance for us then to amend that application. By early December in 2019, the DNR will announce the communities that have been recommended for approval. And then ultimately, in March of 2020, the state of Michigan will formally fund that grant, and the communities that were recommended almost always would be approved for the monies. If Ypsilanti Township does get awarded this grant, you have 2 years to complete the process. And it is important to remember that this is a reimbursement grant. So if you're awarded the grant, that means that you will have to make the improvements first and then get paid back from the DNR. I would like to say at this point also for anybody in the public or anybody that may be watching this on TV, we are looking for letters of support for the project. If anybody would like to write a letter mentioning the support for this, you can write me at cnordstrom@cwaplan.com. Just address it to the DNR, and I'll collect all the letters and submit it with our application. Are there any questions at this point?
Are there any other residents or people in the meeting this evening that would like to make a comment in favor of us proceeding with this Loon Feather Point Park improvement?
Hello, my name is Joanne McCullum. I live at 1900 Tyler Road, and I support the application of this grant for Loon Feather Park. I am very proud of the township board and everyone that tries so hard to make our parks beautiful and wonderful to be in. They really are. So I support this fully. And you will get my support letter soon. And also, I'm going to talk to everyone I can to give a support letter for this. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Are there any other public comment?
All right. Dennis Dickinson, North Hewitt Road. I also support the Loon Park grant, and I will talk to people in my neighborhood and see if we get some more letters of support for it too. I'm in favor of anything that helps the parks in that township.
Thank you very much.
My name is Arloa Kaiser, live at 1421 Melvin Street, and I live within walking distance of Loon Feather. And it is enjoyable to hear the kids playing soccer during the summer, plus, you know, the playground and everything. And a lot of times when you drive along Grove Road, you can see actually people down on this dock enjoying it. So I'm for it.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Hi, my name is Evan Pratt with the Washington County Resource Commissioner's Office. We are planning to write a letter of support to the township supporting this. As we know, bank erosion, particularly on the north side of Ford Lake, is an issue all along, and we're glad that the township is taking some leadership in that area.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing at 7:07. Clerk Rowe, you have a resolution?
Resolution 2019-10 to support the admission of the Michigan National Resources Trust Fund application for improvements to Loon Feather Park. Whereas the Charter Township Ypsilanti supports the submission of an application titled Loon Feather Point Park Improvements to the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund for rehabilitation of 2 picnic pavilions, construction of new bathroom facilities, and reconfiguration of existing pathways, construction of rain gardens, and stabilization of the western slopes at Loon Feather Point Park. And whereas the proposed application is supported by the township's 5-year approved Parks and Recreation Plan. And whereas the Charter Township Ypsilanti is hereby making a financial commitment to the project in the amount of $296,500 in matching funds in cash and or force amount, and now therefore be it resolved that the Charter Township Ypsilanti hereby authorizes submission of a Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund application for $296,500, and further resolves to make available a local match through financial commitment and donations of $296,500 or 50% of a total $593,000 project cost during the 2020 to 2021 fiscal year. I would so move resolution number 2019-10.
Support.
Motion Joe Rowe, support support Ross Williams, sorry. Discussion. Mr. Winters?
I just wanted to at least, because during the work session, it was alluded as to when this property was acquired.
84.
And being the resident historian,
I found,
Yeah.
one of the
The 84?
these deeds were prepared by our office back on September 26, 1986. I was 18 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And but it is amazing to think that, how fast these years go by, because I was telling Brenda, I do remember this closing, because this was one of our first acquisitions back when Joanne Brinker was no longer with us, when she had a great vision for recreation. There was a gentleman by the name of Rodney Stokes, who also was a DNR person, but I have the deeds in the Dropbox here in regards to 1986. So it's kind of nice to see how it come full circle and see how it continues to, fulfill the vision of many, many people who stood on this township board, and you continuing that legacy. It's great to watch.
Thank you. Any other comment? Clerk Rowe.
Doug didn't tell that whole story, is that I was looking for the deeds because they're required. So I was back in the vault, which is a whole nother project that I need to work on. But anyway, so I couldn't find them, and so then I wrote to the title person that we work with, Margot Brown at Campbell Title, said, hey, I'm looking, or how should I start? And then she was saying, well, you need to find some terminology she used. So I emailed Doug and I said, hey, do you know where I could find whatever the closing something documents? Do you something? And he goes, well, if you would have bothered to look at the deeds, because at that time I had a copy of the deeds, he said you would have saw that I signed them. So he didn't tell that whole story. So I just had the deeds. I didn't bother to look and see them. Once I got them, I was so excited about getting. But I want to thank everybody from the Park Commission. This has been a really, really fast track thing, and we thought we could do it, but we weren't sure. Chris kept saying, I don't know. No. Anyways, from Chris, and who's kept us on track and keeps sending emails telling me what I need to get and pull together, and from the attorney's office to the Park Commission to all of y'all, because it took you wanting to do something and add it to the agenda last time to schedule this and stuff. So it looks like we're going to get there and be ready to go. And for all of you who are either going to have organizations write a letter, or you're going to write a letter yourself, or talk to your friends and your family to send letters, it just really, and then now after that, it'll just be time to say prayers and hope that we get it, because we need it. And I'm really excited too. I didn't really realize it. I kind of vaguely remember that we got an award for it, but Debbie Swanson from the Park Commission, who so rightfully pointed out that they won major architectural awards, national awards for the design of those pavilions. And then it came up a couple times, and so when the guys, and I think it was all guys that went out there from engineers and architects and Chris and people from our staff and stuff went out, and they saw that, oh yeah, we can do this and we can fix these and still keep that architecturally award-winning design at our pavilion. So I'm excited about it, and now we just got to cross our fingers, say our prayers, and keep moving forward. So thanks to everybody who worked so hard to help us all pull it together.
All right. I do want to point out that 1986 was a long time ago, and a lot of the laws have changed, and ADA being one, and the soil erosion is a huge problem over there, so it has to do with water quality. The improvements are going to help, and as well as the rain gardens, which is a way of filtration of stormwater, and I know that Evan Pratt, who is here, has been really pushing for that as well, but to really bring it up to today's standards is a great opportunity, and if we don't get it this year, it is all prepared in order to be submitted for the next year. So thank you very much, Chris, and to the board, and let's hope we get it. I'm with you, Karen. We have a motion support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Do I have to have roll call? I was thinking it called for roll call on the resolution. No? No. Okay, all right. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no problem. Public comment at this time. If there's any public comments, you can also speak on every agenda item as well. Give your name and address for the record, and the person who's typing the minutes, they are not in the room.
Okay. Yes, my name is Joanne McCullum. I live at 1900 Tyler Road, Ypsilanti, Michigan. And I want to thank Supervisor Stumbo, Clerk Lovejoy Rowe, Trustee Ross Williams for attending the West Willow Traffic Committee meeting last Thursday. You really helped with a lot of your expertise on the roads and infrastructure, and I'm just thankful that you were able to come. I know you stayed as long as you can with the tornado warnings and the phones lighting up red talking about seat cover. And so I just appreciate that you're coming. I also want to talk about the marijuana Michigan opting out. I am really concerned about that for the children. Adults, they make their own choices. Their brains, you know, usually by the time you're 26, 27, your brain is fully developed. So, you know, you're choosing to take that for whatever reason. That's your choice. But for the young people, their brains are not developed. And with having things like dispensaries around makes it more accessible to the youth, at least around here. I'm a substitute teacher, and I was in high school, and I don't know why this happened to me, maybe because I'm a substitute teacher, but in one class, I actually had two students, it could have been 15, 16 years old, actually smoking weed in the classroom. And it concerns me. It's like, it's saying that it's okay. It's available. You can go around the corner and get it or whatever. You know, I had to contact security and everything, but, you know, it just breaks my heart to see that happening. And what was really interesting, another class, another school, high school I was in, students don't know how well I can hear. They think she's old, she can't see, she can't hear. 1 out of 2. So if you're out of the classroom, I can't hear you. But anywhere in that classroom, you can whisper, I can hear exactly what you're saying. So 2 students, they were doing their work and they could talk quietly. And one student was talking about her experience of walking into a marijuana dispensary and purchasing a marijuana brownie. And I was writing something, I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I mean, she didn't get someone to go in there and get it for her. She waltzed right in there and got it. So she's telling her friend her experience. And she said, yeah, I took the first bite. And she said, I started feeling strange right away. And then she took another bite, and she said, and the girlfriend's like, well, what happened? She said, wow, that one, I really felt strange. I really felt out of my body. And it made me think that 20, 30 years ago, marijuana didn't have that kind of potency, where you just, as soon as you start consuming it, it goes into your bloodstream, and you're feeling it. And for young people, again, that shouldn't be happening to them because of their brains. It's just not good. But the conclusion is she didn't know if she was going to do it again or not. But what really shocked me is her being able to walk into the dispensary and get what she needs. Now, I know youth can go into a liquor store, and hopefully most of them are carding people and not letting them buy liquor, but sometimes that doesn't happen, right? Sometimes they don't card people and they get liquor, same thing. But my thing is, why make more things like that available for the youth? They're getting it now in the dispensaries. So if we put out more, they're going to get more of it. And like I said before, the high-risk areas where youth wants to experiment, and maybe they have less guidance in that area. Maybe they have less skill set of dealing with stress. They have a tendency to to yield to drugs. So I am pleading with you to opt out of the marijuana dispensaries or whatever for our youth. I'm just really concerned about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments?
My name is Arloa Kaiser. I live at 1421 Melvin Street, and I agree with Joanne McCollum. Having this marijuana in our township accessible to these kids, you know what alcohol has done. Well, what about all these accidents we're going to have if you have a combination of marijuana and alcohol on the roads? So it's a real big accident waiting to occur. And also what I would like to speak about was the meeting last night about the governor's proposition for gas tax of 45 cents a gallon done in 3 steps. If the government doesn't stop spending our money on some of these foolish things, and one thing that is my pet peeve, and they're using safety as the key word, is these stupid roundabouts. If the Michigan government would have spent the excess money that they spent on these roundabouts on main road upkeep, we wouldn't be in the problem. And to my feeling is we have a lot of people with the engineering and all this kind of stuff that we're paying a lot of money for. And a lot of this engineering is not physically done. It's all in the computer, so they just plug in the numbers and it writes it for them. I am against the extra money. They think that we're stupid. And my understanding that this proposal is not for our roads. It is for the main roads of Michigan. So I doubt that we'll get anything, but that's not the way they said it last night. And basically, the lieutenant governor and the gentleman who was in ahead, I believe his title was of director of MDOT, they were talking in circles so we couldn't corner them. Why? I thought we put people in these positions to take good care of us, not to line their pockets, but to take care of the people who voted them in and are paying the money for these things, the roads that we really need, not just roads, but bridges also. Let's forget the roundabouts, do the roads and bridges first. If you have extra money, then you spend it on these extra things. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiser. Are there any other public comments?
Hello, I'm Evelyn Empson, and I live on 1194 Walnut Street. I would like to disagree with opting out of the marijuana thing. Excuse me for forgetting what it's exactly called. I do believe that people should have the option of opening up dispensaries around in the township. I do think that youth accessing it is a huge issue, and it should not be disregarded. But I believe that they are going to get it however they want, and I don't believe that opening up dispensaries is saying that that is okay, because it should be stressed that youth should not be able to access it until they are of age. And statistics in Oregon have shown that once it has been legalized, that the rate of youth using it and abusing it goes down. So,
Thank you for your comments. You did very well. Hearing no other comments, we'll go to the consent agenda. We have the minutes of the March 5th regular meeting, statements and checks, and the February Treasuries report.
Move to approve. Support.
Motion no, support Eldridge. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Winters, do you have an attorney's report other than what you gave in the work session?
No.
Okay. Under new business, we will go to Resolution 2019-09, which
I
is
do have one thing, I'm sorry.
Mr. Winters?
Chief Copeland, I mentioned during the work session the outstanding work that Fire Marshal Dan Kimball and yourself had done in collaboration with the Sheriff's Department on that arson case. And I wanted to, again, to say what a great job that the Fire Marshal and yourself and the Sheriff's Department did in putting that case together. There was a year in the works, and I just wanted you to hear what I tried to explain to the board during the work session. Lieutenant Morocco was able to articulate it very well, far better. But what a great job you guys had done in terms of collaboration and the danger arson poses to all the first responders, and that's a very difficult case to put together. This time it worked out well for us in terms of getting the evidence and the collaboration and the videos to show exactly what happened. So job well done by your department and Fire Marshal Kimball and the Washington County Sheriff's Department.
All right, new business number 1, we have Resolution 2019-09, which is the Washtenaw Regional Resource Management Authority. Clerk Rowe.
Resolution number 2019-09, the Washtenaw Regional Resource Management Authority, the WRRMA, whereas Act 179 of 1947, being the Michigan Compiled Law 123.301, the Act enables incorporation of any 2 or more cities, villages, or townships for the collective management of garbage and rubbish. And whereas Ypsilanti Township has participated with other local municipalities in discussing and studying the establishment of an authority under the Act, and whereas an authority under the Act is authorized by Articles of Incorporation, and whereas the Act prescribes and details the process for incorporation as an authority under the Act, and whereas the benefits of an authority include consistency in materials management, consistency in citizen awareness programs, and beneficial contracting positions for area-wide services, and whereas Ypsilanti Township has reviewed the draft Articles of Incorporation for WRRMA and find the articles to be acceptable and consistent with the law, and whereas Ypsilanti Township believes that becoming a member of the WRRMA will benefit the community as a whole, now therefore be it resolved that Ypsilanti Township does hereby resolve to become a constituent member of WRRMA and instructs the supervisor and clerk to execute the required documents accordingly, and further appoints Lisa Stanfield as the designated representative of Ypsilanti Township to the WRRMA and Brenda Stumbo as a designated alternate representative to the WRRMA. I would so move adoption of the resolution.
Support.
Motion Rowe, support Eldridge to approve the resolution. Pardon? Okay.
Sorry.
I know Mr. Winters has reviewed the Articles of Incorporation and worked very closely with Theo, who works, does he work for Evan, for you, Evan? Yeah. In the, my only question is in the resolution in the first paragraph where it says the collective management of garbage and rubbish. Should we include recycling and?
I think it's referencing the Act,
I know, but it,
right?
The Articles of Incorporation kind of gives you the actual areas in which it's going to be concentrated on, and primarily I believe it's been motivated by the need for recyclables.
correct.
China is not accepting the recyclables, and all the communities are struggling as to how to deal with recyclables. It does allow other components to be considered in terms of trying to get the best price if you ever went to a countywide waste management or yard waste, for example, but it's the primary focus of what I've been involved with has been to focus on the need to how to deal with recyclables, and Evan probably can explain that in more detail if he so desires.
Okay. Oh, all right, I'm sorry, you were talking to me. And I participated in several of the meetings. I know Stan did, and it was because of recycling and all the issues that they're having, and the group that has signed on, I think 4 other communities have signed on already, and I think it's a great opportunity to work collectively. And if communities want to bid out garbage and rubbish and get hopefully a better rate by having more units for the waste hauler to bid on, but that does include recycling and was the thrust of the original conversations, and it continues to be an issue, especially if the gas goes up 45 cents a gallon. We're really going to have a larger expense than we expected in order to provide the services. And recycling is very important to all of us in Washtenaw County. And so I'm proud to be part of it and appreciate Lisa agreeing to sit on it for us. And I'll assist in any way and look forward to bringing this forward. How many other communities need to adopt it, Evan, if you don't mind answering that?
As soon as 2 communities had adopted it, that's enough for an authority. So legally, it's an entity as soon as there's 2 communities adopted. So we'll keep going along and see how we get through it. So Scioto Township, Pittsfield Township, City of Saline, and City of Dexter so far have gone ahead and adopted it.
And then we'll be the 5th.
Yeah, and we'll be back in Ann Arbor, I know, for a working session on April 8th.
And the
rest
city.
of the communities. Yeah, City of Ann Arbor itself, yep.
And the city of Ypsilanti needs to adopt it. Those are the ones that were at the table, right?
That's right. City of Ypsilanti, City of Ann Arbor, and Ann Arbor Township are the 3 where we're still returning to meetings. We were recently at a Sustainability Commission for the City of Ypsilanti, and we should be at council here in the next week or 2. So I think we're getting to the rest of the agencies in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. And what's really good about it is the education, because we are charged for contaminated recyclables, and that costs the taxpayers extra money every time that they do that, and there will be a collective education around it and consistent rules throughout the membership communities, and I think that'll go a long way of helping us all be more successful and to continue doing recycling. So it's important.
Yep, that's the first step, and hopefully we get a little further along after the first couple of years.
Thank you. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2 is request approval of the Ypsilanti Township Asset Management Plan for our county drainage system as presented by the Washtenaw County Water Resource Commissioner, office dated January of 2019.
Move to approve. Support.
Motion Wilson Jr. and Eldridge, is that who supported it? Or was it Larry? Larry, okay. We have a motion and support to actually approve the asset management plan. We thank you for bringing this forward, Evan. It's much needed, and we look forward to getting our drainage districts in order and stormwater management, like we do our roads and our water and sewer utilities. Question?
Yeah, just real quick comment. I know I made this comment at the presentation, so I kind of wanted to bring it back up again in regards, and I know this may not be Washtenaw resource, but the drains that's over in the older districts where they get caught up with the leaves, a lot of them. I don't think, looking at the map, I'm not sure if that was drains under your authority.
What are you talking, by West Willow,
Yeah.
Tyler Road? Or?
Yeah, I'm talking about like road drains.
Oh,
Yep, like,
Yeah, it's different on each street, which drains
Yeah.
are under our jurisdiction, the ones that are actually where the water goes in off of the
Yeah.
road. For example, north of 94, in the area where it was labeled on the map, Buyer Relief Drain, those are ones where it actually is all our office, and of course, those make it a little easier. At the same time, the Road Commission is working on their own countywide asset management plan, and they've asked us a number of times about going back and, kind of finalizing once and for all, whose is whose. And there are many, many places where it's a little unclear. There isn't any documentation that makes it totally clear that it's this agency's or that agency's. And so it's probably going to be a couple of years as we work with them on trying to whittle some of those down. But we have told the Road Commission a number of times that we're happy to have things formally turned over to our office. If that's ever a desire of, a community or the Road Commission, I mean, we can work with any community and the Road Commission on what would people like to do. Of course, if there's, legacy issues where things need to be brought up to snuff, that's also something to talk about at the same time. But at least in some of those neighborhoods, anywhere where it is in Ypsi Township, we certainly come out more frequently here than other places because we know and understand that the township is very supportive of providing that service to the residents. So anywhere that it is ours, we do come out and clear those gratings just to make sure that it doesn't stick around on the street too long. Yep.
Did he answer?
Yeah, that definitely helps.
And some of your board members do contact me every couple of weeks or so when there's an issue or problem, and we go out and take care of it. So that's not a problem to touch base with us. It gets
I
done
know
pretty
in the
quickly.
past, myself and trustee Gerald, we've brought up like claiming your drain so everyone can clean their own drain, which would help a lot with the road drainage, but people let it collect, you know, and it's all over the township, it's all over everywhere, but somehow if we could just get them to adopt it or something, so we'll keep trying. We have a motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3 is Resolution 2019-11, which is authorizing the Water Resource Commissioner to exceed the statutory spending and assessment limit of $15,000 per year for the maintenance and repair of the Oakland Estates subdivision drain. Clerk Rowe?
Resolution 2019-11, the resolution that authorizes...
Can't hear you.
Thank you. The resolution 2019-11 that authorizes the Water Resources Commissioner to exceed the statutory spending and assessment limit of $15,000 per acre per year for the maintenance and repair of the Oakland Estates subdivision drain. Whereas Oakland Estates subdivision drain is a drain located in the municipality of the Charter Township, Ypsilanti, which drain was constructed in accordance with Drain Code of 1956. Whereas the Water Resources Commissioner is entrusted with responsibility of ensuring the proper maintenance and repairs are made to the drain. And whereas the Water Resources Commissioner pursuant to statute has inspected the drain, which that inspection revealed that repair work is necessary, inasmuch as said inspection identified the need for system-wide condition assessment. And whereas the Water Resources Commissioner of Washtenaw County has estimated that the repair of the drain will be approximately $23,200. It's printed differently. I'm sorry, $23,200. And whereas pursuant the Water Resources, where am I at? Whereas pursuant to the Drain Code of 1956, the Water Resources Commissioner cannot exceed the statutory spending limit of $15,000 for the maintenance and repair of the drain unless approved by resolution of the Township Board. And whereas the Water Resources Commissioner has requested the Township Board to pass such a resolution authoring the Office of the Water Resources Commissioner to exceed the statutory spending limit allowed on the Oakland Estates subdivision drain, $15,000 per year, so as to allow repair of the said drain. Now therefore be it resolved that the Charter Township Ypsilanti Board of Trustees for the municipality of the Charter Township of Ypsilanti hereby approved and authorizes the Office of the Water Resources Commissioner to exceed the statutory spending limit of $15,000 per year for the repair of Oakland Estates subdivision drain in the exceeded amount of $8,200. I would so move Resolution 21911.
So move. Or support.
Motion Rowe, support Gerald Rowe. Is that correct? To approve the resolution. This is, we don't normally do these, and that's why it's a little new to us, but we're going to continue to do them as the Drain Commissioner brings them forward to us based on the assessment plan that we just adopted. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4 is a resolution 2019-12, which is authorizing the Water Resource Commissioner to exceed the statutory spending and assessment limit of $15,000 per year for the maintenance and repair of the Recreation Park subdivision drain.
So moved.
Support. Are we, is it another
read it.
resolution?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we have to,
all right.
Do I have to read it, Eva?
We take it back.
I don't believe you're obligated to read it unless you've got a reason you need to.
Just do it.
As long as you give us a certified copy that you've passed it, we're fine.
no one heard your conversation. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, the
See,
person doing the minutes didn't hear
I-
that.
I'm not aware that you need to read it out for it to be legally binding. What we need to end up with is that copy that's certified by the clerk that the board did approve it.
Okay, I guess then for informational purposes, that it's $98,400. It's a larger amount than the previous resolution that was read. And and so the exceeded amount is $83,400 above the $15,000.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
or Clerk Lovejoy, can we just read it? I
would appreciate that.
I don't want to, I have a thing about process.
No, I agree.
It makes it, yeah.
No problem.
just forgot
And this
the
one's a little
resolution.
more,
If
it's
we
kind of
could
like you
just
need
read
more
it.
of a brake job than an oil change, basically. That's kind of what the last one was, some very minor repairs. This has got some routine stuff, but there's just a lot more of it in one of the neighborhood
Yeah.
areas, so.
We should read it into the record, I agree.
Yep.
We have
That's
to
your choice.
tell what his name is, so it's in the record.
Yeah, it's Evan Pratt. Thank you. And just for clarification, we'll need to amend, because that last one wasn't worded right. It was for $23,200. I read it right, but it's not right. We'll have to change it. But we'll let Scott know, just for the record. Okay, now y'all get me confused here. All right, Resolution 2019-12, it's a resolution that authorizes the Water Resources Commissioner to exceed the statutory spending of $15,000 and the assessment limit per year for the repair and maintenance of the Recreation Park subdivision drain. Whereas the Recreation Park subdivision drain is a drain located in the municipality of Charter Township, Ypsilanti, and which drain was constructed in accordance with the Drain Code of 1956. And whereas the Water Resources Commissioner is entrusted with the responsibility of ensuring the proper maintenance and repairs are made to the said drain, and whereas the Water Resources Commissioner pursuant to statute has inspected the drain, which inspection revealed that the repair work is necessary inasmuch as said inspection identified the need for renewal and repairs of system structures and sumps. And whereas the Water Resource Commissioner of Washington County has estimated the repair of the drain will be approximately that one we didn't change either, $98,400, and whereas pursuant to the Drain Code of 1956, the Water Resources Commissioner cannot exceed the statutory spending limit of $15,000 for the maintenance and repair of the drain unless reproved by a resolution of the Township Board, and whereas the Water Resources Commissioner has requested the Township Board to pass such a resolution authorizing the Office of the Water Resources Commissioner to exceed the statutory spending limit allowed on the Recreation Park subdivision drain, $15,000 per year to allow repair of the drain. Now therefore be it resolved that the Charter Township Ypsilanti Board of Trustees for the Charter Township of Ypsilanti hereby approved and authorizes the Office of the Water Resources Commissioner to exceed the statutory spending limit of $15,000 per year for the repair of the Recreation Park subdivision in the exceeded amount of $83,400. I would so move the resolution 2019-12.
Support.
Motion Rose, support Doe to approve the resolution. Questions or comment? Hearing none? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5 is request authorization of payment to Laverne Courtney for his conveyance of any interest in the property legally known as River Grove Townhouse Phase 2 in the amount of $4,000, which is budgeted in line item 101-950-000-969010.
Move to approve.
Support.
Motion Wilson Jr., support Ross Williams. Discussion? Wilson. Rodo. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6 is a request to amend the construction service agreement with OHM for the Civic Center Community Center roof replacement project in the amount of $8,450 to be budgeted in line item 101-970-000-975-141, contingent upon budget amendment approval.
Move to approve.
Support.
Motion Doe, support Wilson Jr. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7 is a request adoption of proclamation for the National Pollinator Week, June 16th through the 22nd, 2019.
Support.
We have a motion. Oh, I see how y'all roll. Okay. Pollinator Week is, we have it every year, and it's because we're the first bee city in the state of Michigan designation, and we have certain things that we have to do, and this is one of them. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Budget amendment number 5, Clerk Roll.
This is like multitasking, I want you to know.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I got it. Got to flip this little thing. I miss you, Lisa. I have a motion to increase the general fund budget by $9,547, and that was for the OHM, a professional service contract change, and a PTO payout change, to $9,537,555, and approve the line item changes as outlined, and to increase the law enforcement fund budget by $6,103, and that's for a PTO payout, to $7,680,157, and approve the line item changes as outlined. I would so move the budget amendment number 5 to the 2019 budget.
Second.
Motion Rose, support Ross Williams. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, just a
Motion approved.
comment before we have our motion to adjourn. I just wanted to remind everyone about our, well, first of all, congratulate the Lincoln Boys High School basketball team, which I'm sure you all did during the work session, but it was crazy and it was so good. It was a great game, great teams. But just to remind you all about the First in Michigan Lincoln District event that's happening this weekend at Lincoln High School. Thursday through Saturday. I'll be living there, so come by and say hello. But just come and see our local teams and how great an event it is and how wonderful our students and the community are.
All right, thank you. Is there any other business? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be.
So move.
Support.
Motion Doe, support Eldridge. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
That was at,
Doe Eldridge.
what time does your thing say? Mine went dead
7:45.
at 7:45.